Don't go deep in the water.
One or the other anyway. But at the end of the day, like, it's just having a chat, you know what I mean? So hello and welcome to another episode of Coffee with SamPaul. We're sitting here today at the Komodo Cafe on Prospect Road, Prospect. I've got my usual oat mocha, my lovely guest Frankie Starling. How are you going?
I'm really good, thanks for the invite.
And no problem at all. And what kind of coffee do you have today?
I've got a flat white, extra hot.
Flat white, extra
I
white.
like it to burn on the way down. It's a thing.
So I'm trying to get in the habit of discussing what we drink, because I think it's like the coffee aspect of the conversation is quite interesting to some people. So
I love coffee.
Me too. So this is why I did the show, because there's a good excuse to drink
it's perfect.
coffee.
You like coffee, you like to chat.
Exactly. I
win-win.
do like to talk.
It's a win-win.
I do need to make a very quick mention. You'll notice the shirt I'm wearing today, it's not my usual Coffee with SamPaul shirt, it's an anointed one. Big shout out to Grow Clothing in Melbourne. They're my official clothing supporter, sponsor, I guess you could say. So you will see me wearing a few different of their pieces over the course of the next few episodes as I strut my stuff in their beautiful clothing. Check them out, growclothing.com.au.
Nice. And it looks like good quality too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's really nice fabric. So.
Exactly. So just allow me to have a very quick sip of my coffee, because I've been hanging for this all afternoon.
No, have a big slurp. Go for it.
So Frankie, as I've come to know you, you're a music singer-songwriter.
Yep.
So to tell me a little bit about how you sort of came to find that.
Well, basically, I really didn't do much singing or songwriting until about 7 years ago.
Oh wow!
So pretty late, like well in my 50s. And
don't give that away.
Oh, that's fine. I'm loud and proud.
Yeah, no, good on you. That's awesome.
So basically I was living in Mexico and having a jolly good time, and anyway I had to come back home. Long story short, I had some pretty major health issues, and that took about 2 or 3 years to get through. And when I got through, a little voice said to me, well, actually while I was recovering, I had a lot of time to think, said, you know what, it's time to do what you loved to do when you were a child. Before everybody said, no one wants to hear it, you're not good enough, you won't make any money, and all of this negativity that you get. So this little voice said to me, do that. So I just put a call out on Facebook, and said any guitarists that want to get together and have a jam, do some open mics.
Wicked. I love that.
And Steve Horn, who's a guitarist now in one of my bands.
Yep.
Well, we formed this band together, Chica Chica Electrica, which is original Mexican surf cowboy rock music.
Oh, wow, what a combination.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, I lived in Mexico, so when I came back, I had all these stories of adventures over there, and Steve's a surf guitarist, so we put the Mexican and the surf together, and then we threw in a bit of cowboy, a bit of rock, and a little bit of thrash and stuff like that. So that's kind of how that came about. We were just jamming, and then he said, you know, I write music, and I said, I've got loads of lyrics and ideas. So that's what kicked that off, and that band's been going for about 7 years.
Oh wow!
And
that's amazing.
We've done a couple of original albums which are out and about on community radio.
Oh, beautiful!
We haven't gigged for a while. Everybody's started doing side projects, and that's kind of how I came up with the second band. And some friends of mine said, do you want to come around and jam with us on a Wednesday afternoon at the Gov?
Yeah.
They had a free rehearsal space.
Oh, nice.
And they said, bring some of your songs and we can help you develop them. So I was doing that once a fortnight for about 3 or 4 months.
Oh,
and a really nice crew of people. And then we said, hey, this is sounding good. Should we have a band? They said, yeah, let's have a band. So that's beautiful. How my second band, The Birds and the Bees.
And how would you describe that sort of music?
Yeah, that music is a combination of blues, swing, soul, funk, bossa nova. We've got a female sax player, an awesome sax player called Carol Anderson. She's been playing sax since she was a teenager, and she's a mature lady.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but does she also play sax with...
Yes, Avril.
Avril, yeah.
And that's how we met.
That is how we met.
Through Avril's beautiful 1920s.
Oh, how good was that night?
Yeah.
That was incredible. That was one of my favourite nights ever. Like, it was music, great people, and art as well. Just like, how could you get...
Everything you could want.
Yeah, exactly.
And got to dress up.
Yeah, I know.
In like really cool 1920s.
I still try to find opportunities to dress up. Like
I love a dress up.
The skinny tie and the pinstripe suit, and didn't get my Tommy gun, but One day I'll get one, and then I can rock that as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe just a toy.
Yeah. I didn't mean a real.
I tell you,
I don't condone
I'll tell you a
guns.
quick funny story. I went to a dress-up party years ago as Trinity from The Matrix.
Oh yeah, you've got that look about it.
Yeah, and I
You've got the
slicked
hair and
I've got the jaw.
Yeah.
And you had the wraparound shades.
Compliment, by the way, just in
Oh,
case.
thank
Yeah,
you,
yeah,
thank you. I'll
nice
take that as a compliment.
Yeah, no, she's awesome.
Yeah, so I slicked my hair back anyway. I had the whole kit, but I needed some material to make some holsters for the weapons.
Okay.
So I went to DK Fabrics on Port Road, and the lovely little Asian ladies there. I said, "Can I have like a couple of meters of this black latex?" And she said, "Oh, what are you making?" And I said, "Oh, I'm making holsters for my weapons." And she said, "Oh, very nice, very nice," and then quickly took me to the checkout.
That is funny.
It was funny. It was so
going
cute.
Through her head at the time.
Well, I
going,
think
what?
she probably wasn't even really listening, but
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
just a cute moment.
So I have to ask because
Yeah.
I had no idea about that your history growing up. Oh, not growing up. Sorry, living in Mexico. That must have been quite a culture shock because from what you see on movies and TV,
Yeah.
it's a very different kind of place.
Well, it does get a really bum rap, I have to say. I went there in the end of 2012.
Yep.
And I just went on a kind of whim. I saved up and I applied to do some study over there so I could teach English as a second language and just travel through Mexico, Central, South America. I have 3 daughters. They grew up. I thought, okay, now I'm going to just go venturing.
Beautiful.
And, I just chose Mexico. I did a bit of research. I love the Spanish language. I speak a little bit of Spanish. Sing some Spanish in Chica Chica band.
Yep.
And, I just had a calling to go to Mexico. And it's really funny, Sam, because... can I call you Sam?
Yeah, or Sam,
Okay.
SamPaul.
SamPaul.
Either or.
SamPaul. SamPaul.
Yeah.
SamPaul.
Yeah.
SamPaul.
Love it.
Yeah, I love
That'll be
words.
my new jingle.
I love words. I love words. Oh, there you
You
go.
and me both. You and
Yeah.
me both. I love words.
Words are great. Yeah, so I went over there and literally I didn't know a soul. People were saying, "Oh my God, you're going to go to Mexico on your own."
Yeah.
As a solo traveling woman, do you have friends there? And I said, "Oh yeah, I've got friends there. I just haven't met them yet."
Oh, I love that. That's
Yeah.
such a good saying.
Yeah.
That's such a good saying.
So I literally got off the plane on the Caribbean coast at Cancun, and I thought I don't want to be in Cancun. It's a big tourist city, and I just went out and I jumped on a bus and I headed south, and I just felt like I belonged there.
Yeah.
It was really bizarre. I just felt so comfortable, and
That's awesome.
I loved it.
What a great story.
I've recently come back from the States. I went over there for music.
Yep.
For the Memphis Blues Challenge, and
lovely.
so I went to Memphis, New Orleans, and just out of LA.
Wow, so much history in that. those
Yeah,
places.
so that was really cool. But so that's kind of how the whole Mexican vibe thing kicked off.
So the Memphis, the Blues Challenge, were you involved, like performing, or just going?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and so I have Chica Chica Electrica, the Birds and the Bees,
Yep.
and also I'm in a duo, which I've been in a duo for about coming up for about a year. It's a fairly recent thing.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, and a
So
friend of
cool.
mine, Sav Palakdasoglu, and he is a solo artist known by the name of JJ Fields, plus he also is in bands. Anyway, he said, look, I've been asked to, if I could get a female vocalist who might be interested in doing some gigs. So you want to come along and try out kind of thing
Wow.
on the spot. So I did a few gigs with him, and then we realised, hey, this is working. So we
Yeah.
started writing songs.
Wow.
Then there's an association in Adelaide called ARBA, which stands for Adelaide Roots and Blues Association.
Yep.
And once a year they have a competition where there's a band category and a solo duo category.
I normally mute that.
That's okay.
Oh, that is muted now.
Yeah, that's okay. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, what's going on?
Yeah.
So I said to Sav, because we're called Frankie and Sava,
Yep.
he plays 12-string and
beautiful.
slide guitar. He's a very top
Yeah.
guitarist. Anyway, I said to him, look, let's apply to go into ARBA, and what happens if you get chosen? You get sent over to Memphis to represent
Oh, that's
in the International
amazing.
Blues Challenge.
Incredible.
And he'd been over there before as a soloist, and he was like, and I said, let's just do it for fun, and so I can challenge myself.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I like put myself on the spot and shake myself up, and it was also a good way for him and I to really hone our craft.
Yeah, nice. No better way to do it than in front of a competition of people, you know?
I mean, it's very subjective and all
Oh,
that,
of
so
course.
you don't take it to heart. But anyway, basically, we won.
Wow.
Not in Memphis, we won in
No.
Adelaide.
I mean, not to say I don't think you had the potential to, but I think in context I knew that's what you.
Yeah, you're following my drift.
Yeah, that's the one. I'm not drifting away.
No, that's okay. You're in the moment. Good on you. Yeah. So basically, we got sent to Memphis at the end of January this year,
Amazing.
and we represented the duo category for ARBA, and we got knocked out pretty quickly. There was about 68 or 70 other duos.
Yep.
We had some sound
that's a
issues
lot.
which didn't help us at the venue. But anyway, it was a great adventure, and we saw heaps of wonderful musicians.
That's cool.
And a band called the Honey Badgers. I'll give them a plug. They're mates of ours.
They're Adelaide, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
the bass player in that band is a bass player in Chicka Chicka Electrica.
Wow.
Small world.
Amazing.
Anyway,
That's
they
so
did
cool.
really well. They got in the top 6 bands of internationally.
That's
They
incredible.
got to the
I
finals.
was going to ask, is an international competition?
Yeah.
So
People from all over the
competition
world.
would have been very fierce.
Yeah, and
So-
they got in the top 6 and they
Wow.
went to the finals. So
There
we
you go.
supported them, and so it was great. I got to go to Sun Studios, which was a dream come true.
Yeah, wow.
And went to Graceland.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm not a
yeah.
huge Elvis fan, but I can respect
Yeah.
that Graceland would be an incredible place to visit. Even for me, who's not a huge Elvis
Yeah.
fan, like I just know that the historical significance, musical significance, would be,
Yeah, no, it was
It'd be-
very, very cool.
It'd be like camping out the side of Daniel Johns' house in Newcastle, for me, you know. Like,
yeah.
It'd be like
well,
pretty cool.
yeah. I mean,
maybe getting let in, maybe.
yeah. There's other musicians that float my boat more than Elvis as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, you're in Memphis. When
What
am
do
I
they
going to
say?
get
When
back?
in Memphis, do as Memphis
That's
people do.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
I don't think they actually say that, but they might
No,
now.
I like it. Yeah. Yeah. So then we caught the train from Memphis through the Delta. And we went down. It was a whole day train ride. And we went down to New Orleans and we stayed there for 3 days and enjoyed music. And then on the way home, we went just out of LA, a place called Santa Paula. And Sav used to tour. He did a tour with Europe back in his 20s with Canned Heat. I don't know if you've heard that band.
I've
Canned
heard
Heat.
of the band, yeah.
They're big in the 70s.
Yeah.
And the drummer of Canned Heat is a friend of his.
Oh,
He's the
wow.
only original member.
Yeah.
Fido, he's like in his 70s, and he said, come stay with me.
Oh, nice.
So we got to have a jam with Fido, and I got to sit
wow.
on his drum kit and pose, and
That's amazing.
it was very, very cool. And one of the actual big bonuses of that trip was, apart from all of that, is we've come back really inspired, and we've written, I think, 5 or 6 new songs
Wow, that's
since
awesome.
we've been back.
Yeah.
And it's funny because if someone had said to me a year or even more ago, you know what, you're going to be writing songs about the Mississippi Delta, you're going to be writing songs about playing in Memphis and New Orleans and LA, I'd be like, no, I don't think I'm ever going to be singing, writing
Exactly.
songs about America.
It sounds so far-fetched, but, but you know, once it happens, it's like it all makes sense.
Well, you're there and you get inspired, same as the songs with Chica about Mexico.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
So, yeah.
You know, I've had 2 really big takeaways from this conversation so far. One is the people that spoke to you as a young child think that money is more important than happiness. And 2, those same people that said you couldn't make it, you had no skills, you weren't good enough, all that kind of stuff, were wrong. Mainly, I guess one thing I did cross my mind on my way here was what other kind of, because like I find a lot of creative people, they don't just have one avenue of creativity. So is there anything else
sure.
that you...
Okay, so I've got my singing songwriting with the bands, and I do I'm doing the videos for my music now, because I've got 4 different albums out being played on community radio, and I'm finding that, you know, I got my own YouTube channel now. It's called
Excellent.
Fancy Pants Starling. Hello.
I love it. I will tag that when I post a video for you. So
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
So
all
I'm
that networking
slowly but surely I'm learning my video editing program. I'm using my little S23, and and I took all the footage on the Mississippi Delta on the train.
Yeah.
And that's the footage that I use in one of the videos,
Incredible.
and it looks great.
Yeah.
So I'm doing video editing, and I also write children's books. And a year ago I had one published.
Amazing.
And I'm working on the illustrations for a second one. I've got a big pile of them. It all takes time.
Yeah. But no, that's awesome. But so
Yeah.
wow. So very, very lots of output.
Yeah, and that literally was what I was like as a child. I was
Yeah.
always, singing and dancing on the kitchen table for my parents and their drunk relatives. Bring out the dancing monkey. Yeah, and always, I used to write little stories and illustrate them and stuff when I was a kid as well. So I really have gone back to that.
Yeah.
I ended up on my own at 15
Yeah.
due to family issues, had to leave school. I ended up with a child at 21. Life and responsibilities. I became a mother of 3 girls and went back to study and had to work, and so all of a sudden here I am, nearly turning 65 next month. And
wow.
But that's the lesson: never too late.
Yeah. So just want to do a very quick shout out again to Grow Clothing, growclothing.com.au for the lovely t-shirts and hoodie that they've gifted me to wear on the show in Melbourne. Also, just wanted to shout out to my merchandise. I have Coffee with SamPaul t-shirts and coffee mugs available at coffeewithsampaul.bigcartel.com. Check out the link in the description.
Very nice.
And most importantly, thank you to Komodo Cafe. Even though I didn't ask permission, once again, I've just come on in with my camera and just set up and taken over the joint.
It's a great spot.
This has got to be one of the best cafes in Adelaide, not just because they make amazing coffee and food, but because they also have live music here, which, that's just so close to my heart, and I'm sure it is to
we
you
played
as
here
well,
Friday night.
There you go.
It was great.
But it's such a nice atmosphere, like the way they've got the outdoor area with all the plants and...
I love the retro vibe.
Yeah, all the vinyl. I wish I could take it off the wall and take it home with me.
And inside, there's always something to look at. On the walls, there's lots of art and posters.
It's almost distracting, but in a good way.
Oh, it's distracting in a very good way.
Yeah.
When you're up on that stage singing, there's lots to look at.
Well, thank you again.
No worries,
Been
thank you.
an absolute pleasure talking to you, and no doubt we'll catch you again sometime at a gig or...
Yeah, sounds good.
Something like that. So
I'll stay in touch.
definitely.
And I'll follow you.
Peace.
Peace, man. Peace.